Listen, I just want to jump straight into it, I guess. Like, just tell me where your journey began. Like, where did it begin?
My parents moved to this country when I was like 2. My brother was like 4, maybe like 3. We moved to an area called Crawley. Come on, shout out Crawley, you know what I'm saying? West Sussex. I grew up there, you know, immigrant family. My dad's Italian, my mum's South African. Then my parents split up. I have to explain everything.
That's okay.
So my parents split up. At the same time they split up, my mum had breast cancer. So that was like a weird time for me. Probably like year 6, year 7. My mum had cancer for like 2 years. But it was all just a bit crazy. You know, mum had a new boyfriend. My dad was single. I was becoming a teenager, all this. Because of that, it made me like act out a lot as a teen. Which kind of turned me to who I am today. It was like a long, weird journey for me in Crawley. Basically, my mum ended up like moving into this nicer house. Like she just kind of grinded her way up in like the, I guess, corporate world. And then when she got cancer, she was like, fuck this, I just want to be creative. So she ended up getting this nice house in Crawley. And then basically we got evicted from that house. Oh my God. So when we got evicted, my mum was like, fuck this. And then just like moved to the countryside. But my dad was still like in the area. Basically my pops met this lady. She moved in. And then we moved out of that area to another area in West Sussex, but a bit nicer. We were still like, do you know what I mean? But we were in a nicer area. I ended up going to college in that area. But again, it was weird because you take a whole bunch of Crawley boys and you put them in an area where it's like very nice. Everyone's got money. It was like quite a lot to handle as like a 16-year-old. So that was all just a bit manic. Ended up dropping out of college, which was like mad. I was going through a lot around that time. Let me speed run it. Going through a lot that time. Boom, boom, bow. My pops ended up moving to Scotland for my stepmom. Basically, something happened over there. He ended up moving back to South Africa. So I had to move in with my mum in the countryside. So I was away from everyone. Jesus. But 2019, my brethren got killed. And that just like made me kind of resent my Crawley.
Yeah, of course.
In loads of ways. And then I was like, I need a fresh start. I need to move to London. I met my girl. She lived in London. I was like, I need to move to London. And then I got a job. And then moved to London. And then that happened, got fired from my job, then this happened, and now we're here.
Well, thank you for taking us through it and like being so raw about it. Like that was raw emotion. Like I really appreciate that. And like I respect you so much for that story. And how like, do you think those struggles have shaped you? Like you said you wanted to be a rapper and like you said that your friend died, unfortunately. Like, do you think that all of those struggles that you've been through is the reason why you're here today? Yeah, man.
Dave has like the best bar ever, and it was like, I thank God for the pain because it made me this. And that's exactly how I feel. I feel like my whole life, all the like bad shit that happened in my life, I kind of like, I used to play like victim to it. But as I got older, I kind of appreciated it because it taught me like so much. And a lot of people are like, oh, like, what's the reason you do this for? But a lot of my motivation just comes from pain, innit? I just know how to channel it and to almost like put myself back in that place and not want to be there.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah.
Of course. And I must say, like, I'm sure that your friend who isn't with us today, like, would be so proud of, like, what you have achieved. Like, I've seen your numbers. You shout about your numbers religiously, which, as you should, like, 50k, my guy, on TikTok, 29k on Instagram, gonna hit 30k soon. Like, you're doing bits, like, you're doing numbers, and, like, he would be proud of you. And, like, you should always carry that with you.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace, Swell, man. My fucking guy. When he died, I just kind of fell out of love with music. I was just like, there was so much going on. And I was just like, fuck this. So, yeah, man, I'm sure he'll be proud because I'm proud of myself, you get me? So,
definitely. Yeah, and in terms of your career, you do a lot of community-driven stuff. And do you think that your struggles also play a part in that? Like, you just want to give back to those who... Like, you're going to be the person who you needed when you was that age.
Yeah, you know what it was? Like, I always wanted to do, like, community-based stuff. And even, like, when we were broke, like, big up my dog, the Silver, man. That was, like, I had, like, 2 right hands growing up. One had, like, a nicer, privileged life. Shout out Shumba. And then the Silver, like... he had like a less privileged life, and he really showed me like the grittiness of real life, innit? So, he will always say like, we had this conversation in like September. I ain't seen him in years, and we had this deep convo. We were both drunk, and he was like, you know, one thing with you, like, even when we had like no money, like you would always share your money with me.
Oh, that is so sweet.
And like that was the truth, innit? Like I would always make sure like everybody around me was good. And I think I knew I always wanted to use my platform for a good thing. I just never had the platform, innit?
Yeah.
So as soon as I had the chance to do community-based stuff, I was like, you know what, let me do this, because you know, when I was young and I needed guidance, I didn't have that. And if I can be that for someone, that I could change a life, let alone I could change their generation. Like, how do I explain it? If I inspire somebody to do something which, I don't know, takes them off the road, yeah, that could save their life and their family's lives. And do you know what I'm saying?
It has a knock-on effect, basically, is what you're saying.
And I know the importance of that.
Yeah, of course.
Because I've seen it.
Yeah, you experienced it firsthand.
And I've also seen what my help and platform and change can do for people's lives. So yeah, man, I just think also with me having a platform, if I can't share that, what's the point in it?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really not a selfish person, innit? Like, I don't need much.
Yeah.
So...
you live within your means.
Yeah, and like when I started making a lot more money, and like my lifestyle never changed. You know, the most craziest thing I bought was this. This is my Rollie, you get me? Like, but this was like the first time I bought something super crazy. Yes, I buy shoes or whatever, but I've been doing that. But this was the first time I bought like jewelry, like something you really don't need. Yeah. But like that's barely a flex.
Yeah, like, yeah, but it means a lot to you, and that's,
it means a lot to me.
What I'm starting to understand from this is you're quite a sentimental person. You're quite like down to earth. You're quite real, and I think it's a good opportunity for me to like raise the fact that you are a massive inspiration to the reason why I wanted to start this.
Appreciate that.
Like, shout out you, man, because seriously, like you being like, just do it. Like, don't basically hesitate. Just jump in head first. Like, you was a massive reason why I wanted to start this, and like you saying yes to this has been honestly top tier of my top highlight of my 2025, and it's just begun.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man.
So can you tell me some of the biggest shifts that you have seen in the fashion and culture industry that you think are real turning points for the people, that is?
One turning point is like this TikTok thing. I don't think it's a good turning point. When I was coming up, you know, people who had an opinion, like really had an educated opinion. Nowadays, we just see the same opinion. We also see like trends, but everybody talking about the same trends. There's not really like this unique aspect of it anymore. I mean, there is with me, but Yeah, I think that's like one turning point that we see, which is kind of annoying.
Off the back of that, like, what do you think in the fashion space particularly could change to make it more innovative and inclusive?
Well, one thing I do love is streetwear, of course. I love how streetwear has taken over the world, especially London streetwear. I feel like we're being seen in like a global light. If not, we're the biggest streetwear people of the world right now.
I agree.
So I'm happy that is like the forefront of it. I'm also happy that we now have platforms that, I guess, shed light on designers, upcoming designers, and gives people the platform that don't usually have the platform. So shout out Undiscovered, they're great, and Outlander Magazine, both great platforms that do that.
So previously online, you've said that you want to change the UK media industry.
Yeah.
How does one intend to do that?
Bridging the gap is one thing. You know, whether or not we want to admit it, America has a lot of the things we copy. Complex has like some of the best shows, right? The Hot Wings thing, First We Feast, they had Full Size Run, they had Complex Sneaker Podcast. We don't have that here.
Yeah.
You know, we have podcasts, but a lot of our podcasts are saturated with old men shouting at each other. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a lot of things of substance. We have a lot of good like sporting shows and things like that. I will say that, but we definitely don't have a sneaker show that's worth talking about.
No.
We definitely don't. We had PAQ that went. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that was good, but it went. You know, we need to. I want to be able to like bridge that gap between America and here in an organic way, but to create revenue here, innit? Like, there's no reason why I can't build the next complex here and have a platform, have media outlet through that platform, different shows. Like, when I went to ComplexCon, that shit was fucking insane.
Really?
And that's just off a media platform.
Yeah.
So we don't have that here, innit?
Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah.
So
in terms of like brands, designers, influencers and stuff, like, is there anyone that you take inspiration from, like, particularly?
there's tons of people that inspire me every single day. Clint Cortez, Sloan, obviously, Gabriel Moses, obviously. These man, they're killing it. And I've seen Clint, especially from 2016 we first spoke. So I've seen that whole duration of his journey. Amazing. Then we're going to go 99 by JMS. We're going to go A1 Denim, both of the guys. We're going to go You Wasn't There, NSLB, Fem, FK, all of them and them. We're going to go G-Clo Studios, my guy Gam, big up Gam. We're going to go Trislucent, my right hand, very big, inspiring guy. We're going to go my girl. We're going to go my mum. My mum and my girl should be top. I'm sorry. The question threw me off. Big up all the rappers. There's too many of you, man. We're going to go America. We're going to go Danny from Kids of Immigrants. We're going to go Bad Friend. All my guys, Hyro, Keelan. We're going to go J-Tips, New York. Just big up everyone. There's so many people who inspire me every single day. And I hate that question because I'm always going to miss somebody.
Yeah.
But it's all love.
You cover all of these fashion and cultural events.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what really started that for you? Like, what made you think, all right, I'm gonna go here, like I'm gonna grab a mic and I'm gonna grab a cameraman and I'm gonna go and film? Like, what made you want to do that? So
I used to do sneaker reviews and I had a sneaker show on YouTube, Forever Step In, which whoever wants to give me that, sponsor it, we can run it back. So obviously it was showing my personality, and then a brand called Coated, they were like, oh, we want to do like Side Talk NYC, but for fashion. They were like, you're perfect. So I was like, cool. So we went Soho 2022 to like film on the street, but we went to some pop-up and basically some kid was wearing fake Bapesters, and the video did like 700k like straight away, and I was like, yo, maybe I should do this on street shit. So then I just started putting myself out there, gradually just started doing it, because I moved to London or whatever. And then I worked with eBay, and because of my old job I got fired because it was a competitor.
Okay.
But when I got fired, that was 2023 April, and in that month I did Sloan's advert for Bobo's. I did the Central Sea Cineworld car boot sale, the first cine pop-up he ever did. He reposted that, I did bare views, and then I interviewed Nines as well. So that was all in 1 month, and because of that, it just like made me full-time. Yeah,
skyrocketed you.
And then I was just like, you know what? You know, there's a pocket for the streetwear scene. You know, no one's covering, no one has covered as many cultural moments as me in this thing. And no one has done it as good as me. Period. Still to this day, no one. And no one will. Because I've had some of the most goated videos come from that scene in the past 3 years.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know, Supreme Cortez, to the Cinch interviews, to the fucking every single first person's main pop-up. Like, man's basically done that.
Yeah.
So that's what got me into it. And then I just thought, you know what, let me nurture this. And then I did. And then I started working with the brands and then building community. And then it all just became me,
Yeah.
So.
And then you got nominated as Voice of the Streets.
Yeah.
By the people.
The people just started calling me that. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I am. Maybe I am.
You didn't ask to be called a goat, right? They called you it.
Yeah, exactly. But I call myself the documenter culture. When people ask me what do, I say I document culture, because it's like different subgenres of culture.
Of course, yeah.
But I am not a content creator. No, I'm not that. Like, yes, I might make content, but like, you can't group me in as a TikToker, bro.
I just want to get into the sort of psychology of it, I guess. Is there anything that goes into you preparing for these cultural events? Like, do you prepare yourself beforehand? Do you write yourself a script? Are you planning all this content, or are you literally just going there and being yourself?
Honestly, I wish there was like a cool story. But honestly, I shit you not, no cap. Like, the only thing I think about before I go do these things is, sorry, let me just flex. The only thing I care about or tell who's around me is like, yo, let's go make history. That's the only thing I put out there. And anyone around me will tell you, like, for instance, my manager, shout out Will, that's my dad, low key. When we did the Cortez thing in New York, the only thing I said to him before we left the hotel in the morning was, let's go make history, innit? And that's what I've said multiple times. And what do? I do it every single time.
So how do you stay so authentic?
Again, it kind of just goes back to that thing of like, I don't have to put on a mask. You know how many of these content creators, big ones, when I tell you, I can tell you off camera, some of these big content creators, they're all bubbly and and then you meet them in person and can I swear? They're just like so many, man.
Really?
Even rappers and that.
Wow.
So many, man.
I suppose, it's probably difficult to marry up the two. Do you know what I mean? Because this is the person that you constantly see on your phone screen and you think that is the real them. But outside of that life, it's very different.
So for me, I was like, yo, if I'm who I am on camera, I can never get caught out. Like, people can say whatever, oh, he blanks me in a DM, or no, he hasn't replied to my email. Listen, life is long when it's just you and your manager, right? For start. But no one could ever say, oh, I was like to them.
No.
If I was ever mean to somebody, they deserved it.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
But I was like, yo, every day if I wake up and be myself,
Yeah.
Like,
no one's got shit on you.
But not even that. It's just like, you ask me, how do I do it?
Yeah.
Like, I just wake up and I just do it.
Yeah.
Because if I spend my whole like teenage life going into my 20s, like putting on this mask and like trying to be this like bad boy or whatever, and all it brought me was imposter syndrome and a whole load of trauma and stress I don't need.
Yeah, agreed.
So now I'm just like, bro, if I'm a nice person, at least I can go to bed knowing like I was me and I was a nice person. I didn't do anything out of my character.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
and I guess from your platform and stuff, like, what is it that you would like them to remember about you in 10 years' time? Like, 10 years from now, you look back at this interview and you hope that people will remember what about you?
Well, there's two things. I think Virgil Abloh is like a complete legend in this regard. You know how many people I've met off camera who don't say it on a video or whatever, and who have been like, yo, he's an amazing person. He showed me so much respect, gave me a lot of time. I do that with as many people as I can. But I also back up with amazing product, content, all of that. So that's what I really want to be remembered as in 10 years' time. A great human who gives people time, polite advice, honesty, and also back up with great product and content and whatever art I put out.
I guess moving on, like, what is the most important piece of advice that you would give to someone who is starting out, a young FD? If you could chat to him now, what would you say to him?
It's like, it's actually okay to just be you, innit? You know how many like road boys I've met in the past who are like, yo, I love like comic books, or like I love anime, or I love like, you know, this and that. But like, because they're around like certain people, they feel like they can't do it.
Yeah.
And then like for instance, my right hand, Tris, like, he's a prime example of that. Like, Tris comes from wherever he comes from, he can tell his story. But like, for a time, he was like to me, yo, I want to make content. I love anime, movies, da-da-da-da-da. And I pushed him so hard to do that. And now he's like me in that world.
Okay.
So like, I think my biggest advice is just to unapologetically just be yourself in whatever you do. Because that's the problem. Like, we only have one life. And I think when you're young and that, you're a bit naive to it. But when you get older, you're like, fuck, like, people around you start dying and that. And you're like, yo, my time's running out.
It's an eye-opener, isn't it?
Right. So I need to like actually do something with my life. So whilst you're young, just be you, innit? Like, don't get caught up in all the noise. Because when you're 26, my age, you know how many men I know who are still like on road and that. And it's just like, you men are grown ass men. Like, I'm worrying about tax. You're worrying about fucking making $2 bills a month. Loud. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not sustainable, man. When you could be out here making legit money off something you love.
Yeah. 100%.
So yeah, that's my advice on that one.
So for the creators just starting out, like, how do they stay true to themselves, and how do they actually stay true to that brand? Because ultimately, like, it can be hard, especially with these young kids who are impressionable and do want to get into content creation. They might feel like they have to fit into this mold.
You know, the problem is, I think with a lot of people is there's a lot of expectation and entitlement from the beginning.
Yeah, of course.
You know, people think I just came out of nowhere and like started making content and I blew up.
Yeah.
They don't realize that I've been making music since 2016.
Yeah.
So I had a whole failed rap career and modeling career and moved to London and had a job and did this and that. You know, so that's 10 years and I've only just got to 30K. Yeah. If we want to look at numbers.
Yeah. Okay.
But a lot of people just expect to have that straight away.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
If you have a plan, like I did, being true to myself was my plan, it will work out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, are people ready to work at it for 10 years? No.
Yeah.
You know, so what they're going to do. That's why I don't like a lot of TikTok, because all it is is these new people coming in, talking about the same thing, talking about the same trend, having the same opinion, getting hate in their comments, either quitting or going 10 times over the hate. And then when it pulls up to them in real life, they're not about anything that they talk about.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So it's like, I think the entitlement and the expectation needs to go out the window. You know, all I talk about is longevity.
Yeah, of course.
You know, my name is longevity, right? FD from the future. Like, it's all about longevity. It's all about the long waiting game. Nipsey Hussle. It's a marathon, not a race. You know, people, they need to live by that, because if you think this shit's going to happen overnight, my boy, it's not. So, you know what I'm saying?
If your friend was here today who passed, like, what would you say to him? He's watching this right now. What would you say to him?
I'd probably just tell him I'm proud of him, innit? Because before he passed, he was really like changing his life and like really providing for his family. And he was way younger than me, innit? And, you know, I always talk about I could never be as much of a man as he was, because he was like doing so much as a man, innit? Providing. And it was just like admirable, innit? Like, I was just very grateful for him as a person. He had great energy. I was just very proud of him. And I think, you know, life can be cruel, innit? And this is why I be telling people, like, just stay away from the noise, because, you know, people think, oh, I remember like maybe a year or two before he died, I was like, yeah, like, that shit could never happen to me or mine. Like, you know, that would never happen to us. And then when that happened, it was like, it was just so like crazy. Yeah.
Unfathomable almost.
Yeah. Like, and it was just, you know, your life can get taken away from you so quickly in this world, and people don't realize that, and you can see it, the way they move is crazy. And like, so yeah, man, I'll just tell him that I'm proud of him, and, you know, we're here.
I think it's an important message as well to say that you should always tell your friends that you're proud of them.
Yeah. But even this, I said this recently on my guy's podcast, like, tell your friends, your family, but also tell people, strangers, you know how many men who I glaze. I'm sick of this glazing thing, bro. I'm sick of this thing. I've spoken about it recently as well, but I hate it, because just tell as many people you appreciate their work. You know how many people come up to me and be like, yo, I appreciate what you do for the game, and did it. You know how, like, you know what that does for like my inner child? Because all I ever wanted growing up was like, yo, I'm proud of you, or like, yo, what you do, like when I rap, like, yo, what you're doing is sick. Like, I yearn for that so much. So now to hear it, like, that shit can motivate you for life. You know, and you don't know, even like there's this young buck here, he interviewed me the other day, and I might have some work for him with a brand. I ain't told him yet, but I messaged him this morning. I told him, you know what, bro? Because he's mad young. And I was like, bro, you know what? Like, if you keep doing what you're doing, by the time you're my age, like, you're going to be fucking clear. Yeah. So just keep doing what you're doing. I see you, innit? And like, I know, like, that shit fired him up. You know what I'm saying? And we need more of that, man. We just need this positive energy, because the UK is so dead, bro.
The UK is bad vibes.
I think everywhere is bad vibes, but like, if we can be the generation or the people that can change that, then let's do that, man. There's nothing cool about thinking you're better than everybody else. Because I'm telling you now, respectfully, a lot of these people, who are out here at parties in these industry things, screwing up their face and that, their carpet is peeling off their floor, bro. They got mold up in, do you know what I'm saying? But they're wearing a rollie on their wrist. Their priorities are not straight. Your priorities should begin with your emotion and what you're putting out to the world. And that's on God. You start putting out good energy, the only thing that's ever going to come back to you is good energy. If you're out here moving crazy and then you're online talking about why is everything not working for me. That's why everything's not working for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'm going to end it there because I just feel like
now.
that was such a strong message. So thank you. Thank you for coming, man.
The future. Big up, Billy. Yeah, man.